You ever have one of those mornings where you walk into the shop, flip the lights, and just realize you're breathing more sawdust than oxygen? I looked at my workbench this morning and it looked like a flour mill exploded.
That explains why you look like a powdered donut. I thought you were just trying out a new skincare routine, Tiger.
Very funny. No, I was just trying to find my 10 millimeter socket, which, as we all know, exists in a parallel dimension once it leaves your hand. But honestly, it got me thinking about how much we ignore the air around us until we're hacking up a lung. I've been eyeing the Powermatic PM1250. It's been on the market a bit, but the prices right now are actually making sense for a change. It filters down to zero point 0.1 microns. To put that in perspective, that's smaller than the regret I feel every time I try to eyeball a 45-degree cut.
Zero point 0.1 microns? That sounds like NASA levels of cleanliness. But let's be real. Does a weekend warrior actually need a silent guardian in the rafters? Or are you just tired of your wife complaining about the tracking sawdust into the kitchen?
It's a little of both. But look, when you're sanding something like walnut, that fine dust stays airborne for hours. You can't see it, but your lungs definitely record the data. And speaking of moving air, I've started using these new cordless blowers for the tight spots. Forget the broom. I just opened the bay door and heard the dust like a sheepdog.
I've seen those. They look like mini jet engines. But doesn't that just turn your shop into a localized dust storm?
It's all about the sequence, Alex. You blow out the crannies, let the overhead filtration catch the floaters, and then you're not spending 20 minutes digging wood curls out of your T-tracks with a screwdriver. It's about not letting the shop become a silt deposit.
Well, if you're herding dust, you might as well herd your tools. I saw the 2026 StackTech update from Tough Built. They've gone full Iron Man with the locking mechanisms this year.
They really have. It's getting to the point where I expect the toolbox to greet me by name. But I'll give them credit. The way those boxes stay put when you're bouncing over a job site curb is impressive. It's a far cry from the days of throwing everything into a 5-gallon bucket and hoping the chisel doesn't find your thumb when you reach in.
Speaking of thumbs and the hands attached to them, Milwaukee is going heavy on vibration reduction for their striking tools. Are we really getting so soft that we need a low vibration hammer?
You say soft, I say I'd like to be able to hold a fork when I'm 60. Seriously though, if you spend 8 hours a day swinging a framing hammer or prying apart old floor joists, that shock travels straight up your arm like an electric current. It's like the difference between driving a truck with no suspension versus a luxury sedan. Your joints aren't replaceable parts you can just order from a catalog.
That's a good transition into the bigger picture. We're seeing this huge shift in the automotive trades right now. It's not just about turning wrenches for a paycheck anymore. The data is saying that technicians are staying at shops based on career paths rather than just the hourly rate.
It's about time. For a long time, the trades were treated like a dead-end street. You show up, you work, you go home. But now, these shops are realizing that if you don't show a kid how he becomes a master diagnostic specialist, he's going to take those skills somewhere that will.
It's the roadmap mentality. As a tech, if your boss isn't investing in your certifications or a tool allowance, you're basically stalling in neutral. Do you think that applies to the small-scale maker too?
Absolutely. If you're a one-man shop, you have to be your own mentor. You have to decide, okay, this year I'm a hobbyist, but next year I'm investing in the CNC skills to become a pro. You have to give yourself a promotion, or you'll just burn out making the same birdhouse for 10 years.
Well, if people are looking for that promotion, or at least a way to pay for that fancy air filter, the Maker Mogul data for this year is pretty interesting. It seems people are tired of mass-produced plastic.
People want soul in their furniture. The big winner right now? Floating shelves. It sounds boring, but the margins are insane. You take a beautiful piece of white oak, some hidden hardware, and suddenly you've solved a storage problem for a homeowner who wants their living room to look like a Pinterest board.
And the curved side tables? I saw that on the list. That feels like a step up from the basic stuff.
That's where the money is, using bentwood techniques or even just clever CNC paths to get those organic, flowy shapes. It's the function meets personalization sweet spot. If it looks like it grew out of the floor instead of being bolted together in a factory, you can add a 0 to the price tag.
Spoken like a man who knows how to charge for his artistic vision.
Hey, the vision is free. The 3 days I spent steam bending that wood while swearing at my clamps, that's what costs extra.
Let's talk about the ultimate shop test, the end grain cutting board. You call it a rite of passage, but I've seen more of those end up as expensive firewood than actual kitchen tools.
Guilty as charged. I remember my first one. I didn't use enough clamps. And the middle of the board looked like a topographical map of the Andes. It was so warped you couldn't have chopped a carrot on it without it sliding off the counter.
So, for the folks listening who want to avoid the Andes problem this weekend, what's the secret sauce?
First, glue. Use Titebond 3. Don't get fancy with some all-purpose stuff. You need it to be waterproof and food safe. And don't starve the joint. You want to see that little bead of glue squeeze out like a tiny line of toothpaste. If it's dry, it's going to fail.
And the sanding? That's where most people lose their minds, right?
Sanding an end grain board is like trying to sand a brick. The fibers are standing straight up, looking at you, defying you. You start at 80 grit. And I mean really stay there until everything is flat and work your way up. But here's the trick. Pop the grain.
Pop the grain? Explain that for the non-lumber obsessed.
Take a spray bottle of water. Mist the board once you're at 220 grit. The wood fibers will drink it up, stand up, and get fuzzy. Let it dry, then sand those fuzzies off with 3 and 20. If you don't do that, the first time the customer washes the board, it'll feel like a wet cat. You want it to stay buttery smooth forever.
A wet cat cutting board. That's a vivid image, Tiger. I think I'll pass on that marketing strategy.
Trust me, you do it once, you see that oil hit the wood for the final finish, and you'll feel like a wizard. There's no feeling like it.
It sounds like the theme for this week is really longevity. Whether it's your lungs with the filtration, your joints with the tools, or your career with a real path.
Exactly. We're makers. We're built to last, but only if we take care of the machinery, both the stuff in the shop and the stuff in our chests. Don't just rush through the project to get the reveal photo for social media. Build it so it's still standing when your grandkids are arguing over who gets to keep it.
And maybe keep your 10mm sockets in a locked drawer.
Now you're just asking for miracles.
Thanks for hanging out in the den with us today. Check the show notes for the career ladder diagrams and the project list for your next side hustle.
Get out there, make something beautiful, and for heaven's sake, wear your respirator. See you next time.